Hi, everybody. I'm Marla Miller from marlamiller.com. I'm a writer and an author and a workshop leader. I teach workshops all throughout Southern California, have for a long time. I also am an author looking for portals for my books, as most of us are. But the reason why I launched Marla Miller Talks to Authors and Content Creators is because I have found that many writers have come to storytelling from other professions. And I was one of them. Most everyone that you'll see on my YouTube channel is came to the writing life and midlife. And I think those are fascinating stories. And so I'm always looking for those people. And I happened to find the author who we're going to be chit-chatting with, Mary Camarillo. She's the author of two novels. And she's come to the writing life, not that long ago, maybe 5 years ago. What I didn't appreciate about her is that she's kind of a neighbor and always has been, because we both live in coastal communities in Orange County, California, and yet I did not know her. Although I don't know why, Mary, and we're going to talk about that, because her website is fabulous, and this is a very hardworking author. Mary Camarillo, welcome to Marla Miller Talks to Authors and Content Creators. I'm delighted to have you on.
Thank you, Marla. I'm delighted that you invited me.
Good. I'm glad I found you. Let's talk about this crazy writing life that we love to sometimes pull our hair out about. You had in our pre-interview, Mary told me that she had retired from the U.S. Post Office, and when she retired, she had quite a lofty title, as you would imagine, someone who's worked in that particular industry for decades. And I didn't ask her, but I'm going to ask her now. Mary, when you decided to retire, were you writing stories before? Were you writing them while you were working with the Postal Service?
A little bit, a few short stories.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a lifelong reader
Yeah.
and a lifelong novel lover.
Okay.
In high school, I was on the literary magazine. I
Mhm.
thought about a career in journalism, but I really foolishly let this teacher sour my attitude.
Interesting.
So after high school, I didn't go to college. I went to work at the post office.
Okay.
Never meant to make a career out of it, although it might be genetic because both of my grandfathers were railway mail clerks,
Aw.
which is a really fascinating job if you ever
Yeah.
dive into what
There's
that
a
life.
character to develop in a
Yeah,
story.
exactly. But I stayed on at the post office for a lot of reasons.
Mhm.
I love to travel, and after a few years, you get 5 weeks of vacation,
Lovely.
which is amazing.
Mhm.
I met a lot of lifelong friends, met my husband, and I discovered there's a lot of different jobs you can do there. I started off sorting mail and selling stamps, but I found out there was an accounting office,
Mhm.
and I worked my way up through
Climb that
management.
ladder.
Went back to school at night, which is not an
Oh,
easy way to get a degree, but I got a degree in business administration, got more promotions. Towards the last 15, 20 years of my career, they started an Office of Inspector General with oversight over the Postal Service. So I spent the last part of my career writing reports and editing reports about post office inefficiencies,
wow.
which you can imagine there's a lot of material there.
I'm sure.
And I'm not going to give you an auditing lesson because who wants to hear that? But an audit report has to do some things that are similar to fiction. An audit report
Interesting.
has to tell a story.
Mhm.
It has to tell you, like, there's a problem. What's the problem? It has to tell you what the cause is. Well, a good novel, you dive into why people are like they are.
You
That's what
betcha.
I like to do.
Mhm.
And then an audit report has to have an effect. In other words, who cares? Like, what's the impact? And I think I want readers to care about my characters. That's otherwise, what's the point of reading about them, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah, it may sound like an odd transition. Also, the post office has millions and millions of stories because you've got people that work crazy hours. I worked graveyard for a long time,
Mhm.
so you're really isolated.
Yeah.
That causes a lot of tension with your family and your spouses, and it just creates all kinds of drama. I'm surprised there aren't more books about the post office.
Interesting.
My first book, The Lockhart Women,
Yeah.
is about characters that work at the post office.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do I understand that there are two characters that are kind of fighting with each other? I haven't read it yet
Well, it's a
because I
mother,
read.
daughter, sister story, and the
Okay,
mother and the
gotcha.
two daughters they're all fighting with each other.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's a family that's falling apart and then comes back together again.
Okay, and then what about those people behind us that I'm looking at the behind you?
Those people behind us was my pandemic project.
Okay,
During the pandemic, gyms were closed. So for
yeah,
exercise, my husband and I started walking our neighborhood for exercise and started making up stories about those people around us that we didn't really know, but we just made assumptions about.
interesting.
So
And you got a book from it.
it's about five neighbors that live in the same track. It's based on my track.
Uh-huh.
And they think they don't have anything in common with each other, but they really do.
Interesting.
And the main character is a real estate agent, which I've always found realtors really fascinating, right? Because they know everyone's financial situation, they know their family structure, they know what kind of improvements they've done to their house, what they should be doing to their house,
Hmm.
when they might be ready to sell. So she made a really good through line character because she's in everybody's business.
Interesting. I just finished a novel by Jodi Picoult a couple of months ago called Mad Honey. And while that isn't the premise, she also goes around to neighbors that she didn't think that she'd have anything in common with, and lo and behold, finds out that
Yeah.
she does. So that's very interesting. And so here's what I want to say about, because I studied your website. I was so impressed with it. And I think that writers go to her website. I mean, if you're interested in crafting a website that really is totally devoted to your books, that would be marycamarillo.com. You are what I love about what you've done in 5 years, Mary, and I've been in this biz for a really long time, is that you figured out who your readers were. And you have absolutely zoomed in on the geography where your readers may be. And I found that out from your events. Mary has, the one column is books, one column is events. And when you click events, I'm expecting to see, a couple of events. And then I went into your archive and my gosh, you just really have traveled Southern California.
Mhm. There's a really robust literary community in Orange County. We don't get a lot of respect here because we're not Los Angeles, we're not
Yeah.
Hollywood. But yeah, there's a lot going on in Orange County.
Well, I
And
didn't know it.
I think also people love to read about locations they recognize, you
Yeah.
know. So many people have told me, oh yeah, the Lockhart women, I've just felt like that was my neighborhood. And I'm thinking, well, it might have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of writers, I won't say not a lot, but it usually takes authors a while to figure out how they're going to market and sell their book. Can you give us, uh, me and our readers, just a little bit of history of how you learned that, how you climbed that? Because you
Well,
really have,
with
you seem to have mastered it.
with my first novel, thank you. I don't really feel like I have, but I appreciate
I'm
that.
impressed.
With my first novel, I hired a publicist.
Okay.
I knew nothing. I didn't realize I was even going to have to talk about my book. I thought I would just say, "Hey, I wrote a book. Want to read it? Here you go." No, you
Yeah,
have to have an elevator pitch. You have
you
to say
do.
what the themes are. You have to be able to talk, to people you don't know and try to convince them that they need to read your book.
Hmm.
So I didn't really know what to ask the publicist. They gave me kind of a package deal, but I just paid attention to what they did.
Hmm.
I learned to pitch a lot of podcasts myself. I learned to watch out for literary festivals and volunteer to run a panel or do a workshop or because usually literary festivals are run by volunteers and they welcome people that want to do something. I mean, you're not going to get paid, but you get to talk about books, you get to meet
Sure.
authors. Usually they have a bookseller that'll order your books and sell them for you, so
Hmm.
it's really a win-win for everyone. So I guess community is really important to me. I started making alliances with local booksellers even before my books were published, going to their events, always buying something when I go in the store. I mean, I know Amazon's everybody's preferred method for buying a book because you can have it tomorrow. And I have to admit, I buy books from Amazon
Yeah,
sometimes.
I have to.
But I love independent bookstores, and
Yeah.
we really need to support them because they're a community treasure.
Well said. And of course I agree with you. And I also think that libraries are essential in
Yeah,
communities.
yeah.
And in Orange County, we happen to have some really fine libraries.
Yeah,
Uh,
the library in Huntington, it's definitely a treasure. It's 50 years old now. It's Neutra, who was this famous architect back in the 50s, designed it. It's got water fountains. It's a beautiful space
it
to
is
work and to
beautiful.
read. And yeah, and Newport Beach has a beautiful library too.
We have a beautiful library. I teach workshops there now. And talk to me a little bit. Have you gotten your books in local libraries, Mary?
Yeah, I have,
Tell us how you do that.
well, Huntington Beach is not part of the Orange County library system. So it's just kind of its own animal.
Newport Beach isn't either. I didn't know that
Okay.
until,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So what I did to get into Huntington Beach Library, I just had friends start requesting it. And they
Oh.
finally ordered it. And now there's libraries have deals with all kinds of ebook providers.
Hmm.
So it's really easy, even if your book is not on the shelf, a library can order an ebook version if
Hmm.
people like that format, you know.
It's interesting, and I'll do a side note here because it's informational for those of us who support libraries. They have an audio book system, which I'm sure you're familiar with, Libby. And because I'm on the road so much, I love audio books. They just really work for me. And there was a book that I'd been wanting, and I kept going to Libby, and they would say, it's not on our list of books that we order. And so I just kept requesting it. And I just got, honest to God, I don't know, maybe other people were too. I just got a notice that Libby is getting it, and I'll be like 17th on the list.
Oh,
So your point is well
well,
taken.
congratulations. And, I'm sure the author would say thank you for doing that.
Yeah, because I just wanted it, and I wanted it in my ears because I've got a couple of trips that I'm going on, and you know, audio works for me. Not for everybody, but it certainly does work for me. So, Mary, I know that you write about Southern California. Can you give us kind of a context of how you write about it? Do you write about families? You write about the beach? Do you write about the culture of Southern California? Is
Yeah,
historical?
I came to Southern California when I was 14 from North
Oh,
Carolina. My father got transferred with Douglas Aircraft, which
sure.
morphed into Boeing aircraft, eventually. But yeah, I mean, I was thrilled to be moving to California. I thought, oh, I'm going to be living on the beach, next to the Beach Boys, and
Hmm.
well, California is pretty diverse. We ended up in Fountain Valley, which
Yeah, it's not that
nice,
far.
but it was confusing
Yeah.
because it wasn't exactly what we expected. And I've been here, God, more than 60 years now. I'm still kind of confused by California. I love it. I can't imagine living anywhere else, but there's a lot of stereotypes about California that I don't really feel like I fit into. I'm not really a beach person. I don't have the right
Yeah.
kind of skin.
Yeah.
I mean, I like knowing the ocean is there. I love driving by it. I have been known to put my feet in the water, but I'm just not really a beach kind of person. But California, just like the post office, so diverse, so many different parts of it and people in it. So, and I wanted to write stories about the California I knew,
Yeah.
not the California of movie stars and wealthy people who just had to throw money at a problem and it would go
Hmm.
away. I wanted to write stories about people who work at the post office, people who shop at Target,
Yeah.
people that live in my neighborhood that I can relate to.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really see a lot of stories about that kind of life, about suburban California, not Hollywood, not, coastal beach front
Hmm.
property, but
With
yeah, just more realistic people. That's the kind of stories I'm looking to tell.
And of course, those stories translate very well across the country because,
Yeah.
you know, uh, people are people. A little different nuances here and there, but when you're talking about people and families and function and dysfunction, we might do it a little differently in Arkansas than we do in California, but you know,
Yeah.
conflict is conflict is conflict.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I have been inspired by you and have made contact with a local bookstore in Newport Beach that I never thought would be interested in one of my novels, Deadly Little Secrets, which is set in 1985 and it swirls around the beginning of the AIDS crisis. And but it's set in a Corona Del Mar-like community.
Mhm.
And I honestly, I looked at your website and the events and all that, and this was the other day, and I went, let me look at, because I think that you have on your website local bookstores. However, I found it, I didn't appreciate that one of the bookstores in Newport Beach would very much be interested, I think, in this book.
But
And so my point in bringing this up is that I just came back from teaching at the Santa Barbara Writers Conference, which I've been doing since 2003. And my concern is that writers of today, 21st century writing, especially on the younger end, that they're getting their information from social media exclusively, or maybe not exclusively, but so much of it is coming from social media. And there's just nothing like a community of writers to hang out with. And I liken that to visiting your webpage and studying it because I was on it for quite a while. I mean, I brought your community into my computer
Mhm.
and said, "Oh, she's done that. Okay, I'm going to try that." And this is why we hang out with writers who have been in the business, who have gone up and gone down. I mean, I'm sure for every success that you've gotten in the last 5 or 6 years, Mary, you've gotten either someone, people didn't bother replying to you or no's,
sure.
right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to develop a thicker skin, which I'm not sure I really have, but yeah. Yeah, it's a business of saying no.
Yeah.
It's not you have to want your book out there and you have to campaign for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And I tell writers all the time, again, especially younger ones, but I'm not even going to confine it to younger ones because I know a lot of older writers who are getting into writing expecting to have a best-selling book. Really.
Yeah, someone just asked me last week, well, when are they going to make a movie out of the Lockhart women? And I said, I don't know. Who do you know that I could talk to?
Right.
I
But
mean,
that magical thinking, let's call it that. It's
mhm.
a magical thinking that has been in our community forever.
Yeah,
When I entered in the 90s, it was, who's going to be the next breakaway author? And it has not stopped, even though last year, Publisher Weekly reported, and it's been out in the atmosphere all over the place. I see it everywhere. That last year alone, almost 4 million books were self-published. Even with that staggering number of books, and that's just self-published, that's not hybrid and that's not traditional. Even with that, people are still wondering about getting that movie about
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Fannie Flagg, and we'll wrap this up, but Fannie Flagg opened the Santa Barbara Writers Conference last week, and
Oh, wonderful.
she actually got her literary start at the Santa Barbara Writers Conference in the late 70s, and I've got this all over social media. I did videos of her. Fannie suffered from severe dyslexia, and even though she wanted to be a writer from the time she was, knee-high to a grasshopper, she never even considered it because she could barely read. So fast forward, she becomes a fairly big TV star, and comes to the conference, and the rest is history. But what Fanny said was, because everyone wants to know about fried green tomatoes in the Whistle Stop Cafe, like how much money did you make from that movie? And she looked at the audience and she said, "I know you all want a movie from your books. The fact is, even if you got one, you're not going to make any money. Writers don't make money on movies. However, what I did get from the publisher of that book was a phone call one day after the movie came out, and offered me a 3-book deal. She said
Oh,
that was my payoff,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and she was fine with it, with her name not being associated with the film, but she got 3 more books.
Yeah. That's
So
amazing.
that's the business of this crazy life. Sometimes, you get to be a screenwriter if you have any chops in that, but most of the time, if you got your book to the screen, big screen or little screen, that's a reward in itself.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, this may sound kind of naive, but it's a big reward to me when someone reaches out of the blue and says, "Hey, I read your book and I really liked it." And someone that I don't know, I have no
Mhm.
connection to. But when readers take the time to reach out and say that they like something that you've worked on, for 6 years,
Yeah.
then it really means a lot.
It's very special, and that's why we do it. I mean,
Absolutely.
we write stories, and I say this all the time. We write stories because we cannot not write them, not because of the money that we're going to get, because chances are we're not going to make much. We write them because we have to write them.
Mhm.
That's what storytellers do. And the fact that we have many more avenues to produce our stories, I think that's great. I just want writers to publish the best possible version of that story that they can. And that was echoed, and I was very grateful for that. That was echoed by every keynote speaker at the Santa Barbara Writers Conference. Use any avenue that you can use to get your book out there. Just make sure it's the best
Just
damn,
make sure it's good. Yeah.
right?
Make
Just
sure
make
it's
sure that
ready.
it's good. Mary, are there any last words that you would like to share with our readers about marycamaria.com and your novels? Do you have any guest speaking? Because I know that you go out and chit chat. Anything coming up that
Well, I
we
am
could?
looking forward to a festival out in 29 Palms. It's
Oh,
not till November, but I think that'll be a really lovely time to be out in the desert.
it will be
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a panel and a reading out there, so that should be fun.
wonderful.
Um,
And you get all these just by researching.
Research, and you start forming a community. And once you start volunteering to help people, I mean, writers are so generous.
Yeah,
Then they'll reach out to you too. That's what's been continuing to happen for me.
wonderful.
People will say, "Hey, you want to come talk to my book club?" I love book clubs. I'm really happy to Zoom in or come in person if I can. Because I don't even care if you don't like my book or we talk about something else. I just love talking to readers. So,
I do too. And it's one of the reasons why I like teaching because um, while writers are attracted to my workshops, I get readers who want to be writers,
mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and I offer workshops that are pretty simple through a senior citizen center in Newport Beach. But, they're basic. And so you get people who are just scared. They got this great idea. They want to document memories for their kids, grandkids, friends, whatever, but they're scared. And
Yeah.
it's really wonderful then to bring them in and to have them write something and then have them read it and we critique it. And you can
And
just see
And those stories are so important.
they
The
really
book I'm
are.
working on now is based on my grandmother, but I have to make it fiction because I didn't ask her enough questions. And, all my elders are gone now in my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great for fiction because I can make stuff up,
Yeah, that's
but I
right.
really advise people get the stories, get them now while you can.
The last thing that I'll say to you, I promise this is the last thing. The reason why I launched these workshops for seniors was for that reason. We didn't do that in my family.
Mhm.
And so, I've got some stories and they're great stories. But what I also say to people is what Norman Mailer said often, and many other iconic writers said about writing: never let truth get in the way of telling a good story.
Absolutely.
Mary Camarillo, thank you so much. This will be on YouTube, and I will put it on Marla Miller Hooking Readers, and I will put it in Substack. I think I'm following you, and LinkedIn. I'll put it out there, and I would appreciate it if you, when you get it, you
I'll
would.
share it too. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. And until the next time, I want readers to know that I'm looking for authors for sure, but I'm also looking for content creators because, boy, they are the new wave in 21st century publishing. It's a whole different way of telling stories, and I'm here for it. So I want to talk to them and pick their brains too. Thank you, Mary Camarillo.
Thank
And
you.
for those of you who want more about Mary, marycamarillo.com. Until the next time, be well and
Thank you.
write on. Bye bye.